What's up, guys? My name is Devin, and over the past couple of years, I've been making content for a very long time, and I hit my first 20K month about a month ago, and I have no information to sell you. If you look in the bio, there's no link to anything. Maybe there's a Discord because I've been growing a pretty nice community there, but other than that, I'm not really selling anything. So, and also let me just refresh this. If you go to past 30 days, I'm up like almost 2K or almost 3K actually, and yeah, I have nothing to sell you. And in this video, I want to talk about kind of the struggles that a lot of people face when they're trying to hit their first 10K month. Because I'm sure, as a lot of you guys have heard, that when you hit your first 10K month, it makes making money much easier, right? The first $100 is pretty hard, and the first $10,000 is pretty hard, and then the first $100,000 is actually easier than the first 10,000. Anyways, let's talk about kind of what is holding you back from making your first 10K month online through maybe branded dropshipping or SMA, or maybe you're clipping for people, whatever it is, right? I'm assuming you're watching this because you want to make money online. Maybe it's from YouTube, from streaming, content creation, whatever, right? So, what a lot of people kind of think about when they're trying to make their first 10K, or what they don't think about, is what do they have to do to get there, right? Because they have an idea, right? But they don't know the exact steps. When you're trying to do anything, including making money, you should be thinking about the steps it takes to get there, right? For example, if you're making $10,000 a month, what does that mean? That means you're getting money from somewhere, right? You're getting money from someone. So, how are you going to get customers, right? And then when we think about how to get customers, then we think, okay, well, we understand we have to get customers. Well, where are we going to get these customers? Oh, maybe we're going to do ads, or maybe we're going to do organic, or maybe we're going to do word of mouth, word of mouth. So, like, there's lots of different ways to get customers, but what I'm trying to explain is you have to break down what your goal is and how you want to get there, because there are so many ways to get to your first $10,000 month. And I hit my first $20,000 month last month, so I think I have a lot of holding and experience to be able to share this with you and kind of help you understand what it takes to get there, right? And what it is you have to do the rule of 100 and breaking down every single step. So let's say you want to choose like maybe drop shipping, which is what I'm more experienced in, right? If you're doing drop shipping, the first thing you want to think about is what's your product. And then after you figure out your product, you want to figure out what is your ideal customer. And then after you figure out what your ideal customer is, you need to figure out how you're going to get that customer. And then after you figure out how you're going to get that customer, then you need to set up the store. And it just keeps going on and on and on, right? But the idea is I have a very, very good comprehensive understanding of how I'm going to do each and every step. And once you understand how to do each and every step, making money becomes easy because you know what to do. And the reason why you're not making money is because you don't know what to do, right? And that's where people start selling their course and they start saying, oh, if you buy my course, I'll show you what to do and you'll be able to make it. Or, maybe mentorships. But I'm not opposed to a mentorship, because if you're paying for a mentorship, you're exchanging time. And I think that's better. And if you guys want to work on a mentorship with me, I don't have anything I'm selling right now, but if you want to, maybe you can message me and we could talk about it. But I really think that you guys need guidance, right? Because it took me 6 years to get to my first 20K month. It took me 5 years to get to my first 10K month, right? So the first 5 years, I was making almost no money. And then I hit my first 10K month. And then after that, a year from then, I doubled my monthly income, right? And it's going to keep going up and up and up every single month. But the idea is, it took me years of experience to learn how to do this. And I'm assuming if you're watching this, you don't have years to burn to just learn how to make content, learn how to make websites, learn how to do product research, learn how to, market correctly. Everything like that takes time. So what I recommend for you to do is become a sponge. And what I mean by that, what I mean by become a sponge, is start understanding that the world is your library, right? And you can pull information from anywhere and then kind of filter it to start learning more. For example, you're watching this video and I'm sure you've learned something already, right? If you're going to take anything away from this video, it's become a sponge. Because once you start learning that you can learn from anyone and anything about any topic, for example, Kobe Bryant has this great quote where he says, once he realized the world was his library, he became the best basketball player possible, right? And what he meant by that was, if he's learning in math or something, he's going to think about, okay, how can I relate this back to basketball? If he's learning something about writing a book. He's going to learn how can this make me a better basketball player, and he would relate everything back to this. So whatever your goal is, if it's becoming a millionaire, retiring your parents, whatever it is, changing the world, take the entire world as your library and pull it back to how can I become a better business owner, or how can I be, make this make this help me make more money, So, remember, the world is your library, okay? Become a sponge. So, what I recommend if you don't have time is actually try to get a mentorship, And I'm not saying get, me, or, I'm not going to recommend you anyone, but try to find someone credible who you trust, who is going to be able to help you get to that next step quicker, because people really, really shame mentorships. And I wish I had the money and the time and the experience to be able to get a mentorship when I was younger, because I started when I was 13, and I know I would be making probably $500,000 a year right now if I actually had a mentorship when I was 13, and I didn't. And the reason why you guys don't have a mentorship is because you don't have any capital. So what I recommend you do, if you don't have any capital and you're young, it's either start clipping, start editing for people, start building your experience of building content. I'm telling you, one of the best skills you can learn when you're young is editing, right? Because when you start learning how to edit, you learn how to do retention editing, you learn how to make content. And when you start learning how to make content, you're solid, because content is how you market. So you edit, you can make content, and then after you make content, you can start marketing. And when you're marketing, you're golden, because you can just make money, right? So focus on learning how to edit if you're not experienced. Focus on learning how to make content, and then focus on how to market, and then focus on how to make money from there. It's a step-by-step process, okay? And once you start making money, I really do suggest getting a mentor, right? And it doesn't have to be like a really, really like, oh, I'm making like $1 million a year mentor, right? But it could be someone like, okay, hey, this guy is making $5,000 a month, and I'm making, $100 a month. How about I invest $100 to learn from this guy who's making 5,000? Then I learn how to make 5,000, and then I invest that 5,000 to another mentorship where the guy's making 20,000 a month, and then it just builds up and builds up and builds up. Alex Ramosi has really recommended this, and it opened my mind because I've always been opposed to the idea of mentorships, right? Because I thought, oh, I'm not going to spend money because everyone's a scammer. But that's not true. Not everyone's a scammer. Some people just genuinely like helping. Like, for example, this Discord community, right? This Discord community that I made this like purely just because I wanted to help people, right? And so many people have joined, and people are starting to make money and stuff like that. And like, it's a really great feeling. And I had no other intention behind this. But when I started making this Discord, like, really, I made this because I actually was lonely and I wanted to make friends. And when I wanted to make friends, people started reaching out to me and was like, "Hey, can you mentor me? Because I don't know what I'm doing right now." And I was like, "Sure, man." And I started doing it for free, but then it started taking up my time, and I was like, "Hey, man, I can't do any more mentorships. I'm busy." And they were like, "Hey, I'll pay you like $1,000." Like, and I was like, "Are you sure? Like, you want to put in this investment?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, okay. They PayPal me the 1,000, and now I'm having like a couple weekly calls with them, and I'm explaining things to them, you know. And I didn't set up any funnel. I didn't set up any like, I didn't do any call to action. Like in my videos, I've specifically said I don't like asking people for money, right? But if someone's willing to pay me for me to help them, and it only takes a couple calls a month or a week, then of course I'm going to, because I'm gonna help them get to whatever their goal they want faster, right? What's gonna take them 6 years of work, they can do in like 1 month, you know? Because I know exactly what to do and how to help them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm paying for a mentorship right now. I'm not going to say from who, right? But he's helping me understand, okay, what's the next step I need to do to get from my 20K a month to my 100K a month, right? And that's what I'm doing. And since paying for the mentorship, I've already made 5K extra this month, doing working on an app and doing other mentorships, right? So I really do recommend looking for a mentor and opening your mind to the idea that your world is your library and you need to pull information from everywhere. And if you have someone who's going to guide you, it's going to be much easier to make money and get to your goal quicker. You have this idea that, oh, I'm the lone wolf, I want to do it alone. But like, bro, when you were learning math when you were little and you were learning like, how to do, multiplication and subtraction, when you went to the next grade and you learned how to do like a more algebra and you learned how to do more higher math, you didn't look at your multiplication teacher and an addition teacher and you were like, oh, you're so stupid. You were like, oh, if you didn't take this, you wouldn't be able to get to here, right? So it's building blocks. And when you start building more and more blocks, right, then you're able to build your house. And then it gets more, bigger, 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 and then you start making more and more money. Okay. So invest in yourself. Remember that if you're going to spend money on anything, don't spend it on nice cars, don't spend it on a nice watch, right? Spend it on investing in yourself and investing in knowledge, right? The only expensive thing I've ever bought is this watch right here, right? It was a like a $800 watch, and honestly, I wish I didn't buy it, and I kind of wish I just invested that $800 into just getting another mentorship. Because if I'm learning from all these people, I'm gonna make money so much quicker, right? So that's what I recommend. Remember that the world is your library. Break everything down into itty bitty little pieces of how you're going to get there. If you have a dream life, break down your day by day and what your goal is to get there. For example, I'm making an app right now where you're able to like basically like uh track Shopify stores, and you're able to use AI to do product research, right? And it's not even finished yet. But like, doing this, I have to break down like step by step, like, okay, what is this app I need to do? Okay, I need to be able to pull Shopify visits. How am I gonna do that? I need to do website scraping, and it just goes on and on and on and on. But once you do this, it's gonna just make your goal and your mind is gonna open so much, and you're gonna be able to see your goal much more clearly. So if you want to start making money and you want to take anything away from this video, I recommend making sure the world is your library and you pull information from everywhere. If you have the capital, get a mentorship that you trust and someone that's going to actually help you. Because if you're getting a mentorship from someone who just wants your money, they're not going to help you. Because I've had people come into Discord and like they're telling me, like, oh, I paid a $3,000 mentorship and this guy, like, he doesn't even respond to my messages and like he gives me like really basic information. And I'm like, yeah, you got scammed, You want someone who has real results and shows like proof. And if you guys want proof for mine, this is the store I run. It's called Tiny Truck, and the Instagram is called Tiny Truck Official. And here, I'll show you this right quick. This is the product I'm selling, right? I made 20K off this last month. It's a really good product. I use different marketing angles. I've talked about this in other videos. I have nothing to hide, right? Most people don't even show their products because they're scared they're gonna have competition. I'm pretty confident enough to think that if you guys want to compete with me, you're not gonna be able to, because I'm just like, I got 25 million views off just this one account last month. So, uh, really, I don't trust someone who is hiding their stuff and gatekeeping their information, because those people are making their money off you, not off the products they're selling or the marketing they're doing. The most money they're making is from the people who are buying their mentorship. It's a pyramid scheme, bro. It's like literally a pyramid scheme, And these people, you're wondering like, oh, why is all their videos about like making drop shipping, but they're only promoting their mentorship? Like, that's a little weird. I wonder why. Anyways, yeah, pull this information, and I recommend using this idea and this mindset to start making more money and to get your first 10K month, man. All right, if you guys have any questions, you guys can join my Discord. I'm not selling anything here, anything like that. Really, I share like tips and stuff like that. I have a daily yap session. I drop free sauce in here and stuff like that. Really, there is nothing to buy on this Discord. I promise you, it's just a community of people that I've built, and I'm really proud of it because I'm building a nice community, and it feels nice just building that. If you guys want to message me on Instagram and you guys want to personally just reach out, I can't promise I'll reply because honestly my DMs are pretty stacked at the moment. But yeah, this is my Instagram. It's called Devin Talks. I may end up changing this name soon to Devin Senath, because this is like, I used to post lots of content on here and I don't anymore as much. But yeah, I used to post lots of content. But yeah, if you want to reach out, this is my Instagram. And yeah, that's it. If you guys need anything, please just let me know. Have a good rest of your day. I love you.